Hi, welcome back to Chaotic Merriment, where I make the crazy things I've always wanted to make. In this episode of the crazy things I make, I'm going to make a ring to go around the witch hat that I made. I am using barley, some dried starflowers, and this yellow plastic thing that holds a box of paper. I figured it was a sturdy and relatively non-meltable material that I could use and hot glue things together too. Now, when it came to the execution of how I was going to attach everything to this yellow ring, I was very uncertain, so a lot of this is very much trial by fire. Also, please ignore the peanut butter jar and the giant tumbler cup that is currently holding up my phone/camera. I forgot to bring my actual phone holder that would normally hold this, so it's going to be in most of the shots while I'm at work. I am doing this on my lunch break, so I have to do it as quickly as I can in the tight hours that I get to do it in. Now you will see that I am using a paper plate as the general circle shape because I have a small head and this is about the general circumference of the hat that I made. So it roughly fits the way I need it to. So I am just hot gluing and pinning and attempting to braid this far too dry stuff to the yellow plastic, and it doesn't go as accordingly as I thought it would. I really believed that it would, and then it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. But it's okay. Trial and error. You gotta figure out what works. For me, that method just typically means lots of hot glue and lots of stubbornness. You'll see here that I kind of forego most of the braiding technique as I have gotten frustrated with the ends as they kept crunching and withering and snapping on me, so I just decided to go ahead and chop them, which actually ended up working to my benefit because the shorter the strands were to work with, the better it was to go around this yellow ring. As of this point, I have been making very slow progress, and I wanted to kind of up it just a little bit because it was a little bit more flimsier than I thought it was going to be, so I needed to add things to it to make it stiffer. So in my attempt to make it stiffer and thicker, I'm adding more of just kind of as like a base layer of sorts to it. I'm just adding more of this wheat and barley and like just these dried plants and kind of decorating it and trying to thicken it up. You will see here in just a minute that I do get frustrated with it. However, I am determined to get something to do it my way, or one way or the other, and so with enough hot glue, enough burns, and enough patience, it kind of sort of not really did what I wanted, but that's okay, because who needs perfection? So here I am mostly just trying to get it as close to a circle as I can, and you will notice more towards the final product that it does get into more of an oval shape primarily here because I should have hot glued and tucked it under, but I was worried about covering up most of the progress I did, which I shouldn't have been because I was going to end up doing that anyways. In the midst of this little barley thing came off, which was another reason why I was trying to be careful and stop chopping and moving things around so harshly because I wasn't aware of how fragile these things were. But in an effort to add a better stance to kind of, or a better form to hot glue everything to, I have this gold and I guess cream I don't know, it matched the general color scheme and it also added a pop of just funness with the gold. I've had this for about a year or so. I decorate my little office space whenever I can for the holidays or the seasons or whatever I'm in the mood for. And it's kind of ran its course, and it's been needing to get used in a project one way or the other. So I am just wrapping this around this ring and hot gluing it as I go. So So once I get most, if not all of this tulle kind of just hot glued into the general shape of the ring, I am going to go ahead and add more of the dried flowers. I just ended up cutting the tops off very much like Morticia Adams does to her roses. So I have like bouquets of just dried stems, which I'm hopefully planning on using for more of this progress. But with all of these fun shapes and just textures of all of this, I am hot gluing and kind of weaving it through the tulle, but also like putting it in a ring. And just for a fun pop of color, just to add more autumnal vibes to it, as well as witchy vibes to go with it, I am adding this other orange sparkly tulle, also just something I kind of have laying around that needed a purpose in its existence in this world. So, in an attempt to not burn myself, I am using my scissors, and yeah, hot glue is the main factor in this project. So I did manage to do most of this for my lunch break as well as my just regular breaks, and I was able to finish most of this by the end of my shift today, which was very nice.
So you should notice that the scenery has changed, which means I've brought my project home to work on. I have added this orange sparkly tulle to help with the color. I have all this, like, they're called stars. I don't remember the specific flower these are. And then we have barley, which if you ever get stabbed with one of these things, it's itchy. It's like when you get your hair cut and it touches your neck. But anyways, moving on. I am not done, but I will go ahead and kind of give you guys a teaser of what this looks like on the hat so far. Just so you guys can kind of see. Da-da-da-da. And I'll back up so you guys can see it. So it gives it just enough personality. However, I'm not ready to stop there. So I'm going to add these like brown colored feathers in addition. I also have this fun like really wispy one. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be, but it's feathery-ish. I have these orange roses that I would also like to add to it. And I just had them, here they are. I have these. They're peachy toned. I call them paprika toned because they're the same color as one of my cats. But these are peonies. So I'm going to take the smallest one of the bunch. And just to kind of help add some me-ness to it, I'm going to add flowers to it. So I'm going to take this off and get to decorating. Alright, we got the hot glue gun out. We got the extra glue sticks. And we have coffee in my favorite mug, one of them, with Appa and Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Found this on Etsy, and it's one of my absolute favorite cups. My husband has a matching one with Uncle Iroh on it. Okay, so the final product is done, which didn't take nowhere near as long as I thought it was going to, but then again I did most of the hard work at work. So here's what it looks like now with the feathers and the flower. I was going to use more of the orange roses, but I think it's got just enough orange pigment in it that that concentrated amount is just right. So yeah, I have a fun seasonal ribbon band thing to go over my hat to help vavoom it, if you will. And I'm pretty freaking happy with that. And look at these. These are like the grenishy, like crow feathers. I don't know if it's going to show it particularly well. And then I've got a sparkly one, so it just makes me so happy. It's going to make this costume look so good. And just so you guys can kind of see what it would look like on my head, I will show what it's like for me getting into a car later. I just need to finish the costume so I can finish the look, but it's very exciting.